Welcome back to Southwest Yard and Garden. I'm Curtis Smith, and today we're visiting in the garden of Katherine Neely, one of the secret and hidden gardens of Albuquerque, one of the beautiful wonderlands of Albuquerque.
Good morning.
Good morning, Katherine. Thanks for letting us come here today.
Well, thank you for coming.
Katherine, can you tell us how this garden came to exist?
Well, when we looked at the lot, I fell in love with the lot, and I had a vision of what I wanted to do here, and they made me build a house. I would like to have just had a garden, but I have a house now. The lot was perfectly flat, completely uninteresting, no features of any kind, and then in the back it went up, straight up in the air to the lots that were 5 feet higher behind us. And they were building the patio at the time, and they had a lot of excess dirt, so I had them leave it. And they were very accommodating. They brought me dirt from other patios rather than hauling it to the dump. And so I had the dirt piled up out here, and I ordered lots and lots of manure. And the tree trimmings from the power lines crew, I had 7 truckloads, I believe, of that. And then we had a man with a bulldozer come out for a couple of hours one morning, and he mixed all of this stuff up and pushed it into the spaces. I'd just say push it over here and push it over there, and I want a path here. And so he did all that with the bulldozer, and that's how it started.
Okay. Has it met the expectations of your vision that you started with?
Well, it grows every year, and it's beginning to be exactly what I want.
And how many years has this been?
30 years.
I think people need to know that this is a process. It's not
Yes.
something that you finalize from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. And if you're a plantaholic like I am, you have to find space for the next plant that's coming along.
I like people who are plantaholics because you've got some of the nicest I've seen.
Well, thank you.
Now, this isn't a xeriscape, is it?
No.
But it's still very efficient. It's a large, very intensively gardened area.
Yes, I use a lot of mulch, and I water only twice a week, so it's pretty efficient. Of course, I have a large area to water, so I use a lot of water. I have some areas that I don't water as much as others. It's all on timers, and I can adjust the timing, of course.
So you're applying the principles of efficient water utilization, even though this isn't what most people would consider a xeriscape. It applies water conserving principles to it.
At the time we built this garden, Albuquerque was in the process of saying, let's make Albuquerque green and let's plant beautiful trees and gardens. And so it's too late for me to go back to xeriscaping.
I see you've got a lot of nice trees and a beautiful garden here, so it's something you don't want to lose at this point.
No,
and it's an example of what a small part of a xeriscape could be, because an oasis in the xeriscape, the higher water zone, could look like this, and this isn't really a high water zone if it's watered every twice a week.
Yes, that's right.
And do you have troubles growing trees here?
Well, we have caliche mixed with decomposing granite in the soil below the mounds, and so when you dig a hole, it just forms a basin that holds water. And after a while, the tree drowns, and I've lost a number of trees that way.
I've had a lot of people who talk to us about that, and they want to plant trees in caliche or in lava, depending on where they are in the rock. Digging a pit creates a bowl and does just what you described. So they have to do what you did, raise the soil up, build a raised bed.
When I finally discovered what was happening, a tree died, and I dug down to see what happened. The roots went down to the bottom, and then they curved, and they went up the sides and out over the surface, and it just had too much water and it couldn't live.
The trees weren't happy, but the pines seem to be doing pretty well.
The pines have done exceptionally well, and
crabapple.
anything that's on the berms does fine, but you plant it down on the level where the caliche is. And this is not a simple caliche problem. My husband dug down 4 feet, and this layer was still going, and we just decided that was not going to work.
And he was tired after digging 4 feet in caliche. So good advice to a gardener in a caliche area, if you can't penetrate the caliche, is to raise the soil up, bring in additional soil, and create raised beds, as you've done here. And we see a garden that just illustrates beautifully what can happen when you do that.
And these berms are actually compost, because all this organic matter that we mixed in with the dirt has decomposed, and we use a lot of mulch, which helps keep it, the humus coming all the time.
So by creating organic soil, you've created an environment where these kinds of plants grow. You've got a lot of interesting plants. What would be your favorite plant here?
Whichever one's blooming that day, probably. I have become a daylily fanatic, and I have 450 different varieties, and I've ruined my landscape because every time I find a hole, I put a daylily in it. But they are a fascinating flower. There's so many different shapes and colors.
And I also see a lot of crepe myrtles blooming now.
Yes.
The daisies. Just everywhere I look, there's something blooming. And you said you have a plant from South Africa?
Yes, it's over in that area. It's the pendulous red blooms over there. Then the hummingbirds just love it.
And it's really not supposed to grow here, but you've created such an environment
here. It's
from
the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa, and it's zone 7 or 8.
So for south of here, it may be a good chance.
Yes, I think so. It's doing very well here, and of course we haven't had a severe winter for about 3 or 4 years.
That's true too.
So it might happen in the future. Yeah. But I have something blooming every day. The heaths bloom in the wintertime. They start in November and bloom through till March or April, depending on the variety.
So every day of the year?
Every day of the year there's something blooming.
So do you mark your calendar as to what's blooming today?
Well, no. I'm too busy trying to do the work.
It does take a lot of work, doesn't it?
Not as much as you'd expect. Most everything is perennial, and so I don't have a lot of annuals. And so they are permanently there. In the spring there's a lot to do to clean up and get it started for the summer. But after that it's a matter of just maintenance.
Well, Katherine, thank you for inviting us to your beautiful garden and letting us videotape it so people can see it all over the state of New Mexico.
Well, thank you for coming. I enjoy showing it.